we are super excited to have Clay Nelson and Greg Paddock from GitHub with us to talk about GitHub.
That's pretty much what we're going to do. Thanks. Thanks, everybody. Keep meeting, get more. Looks like there's plenty, so feel free to get up and move around in the middle. We're going to try to keep this pretty informal. So we're going to talk a little bit about just sort of introduction to GitHub. How many folks are using GitHub, have GitHub? I think good. The other thing we're going to talk a little bit about is this trend of using open source methods inside the enterprise. So it's been termed InnerSource. How many folks have heard that term, InnerSource? Anybody participating in open source projects now? Got a handful of folks. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and then we'll walk through some of them. Is that
Yep, I got it.
There's where I should be standing. Better? Is that better? Mine was right under it, that's it. So Greg will walk through some of the operational aspects of GitHub and some of the new features that better that improve collaboration and code review and really make this idea of bringing the practices of open source development into your enterprise. But before I do that, just give you a few minutes overview of GitHub. Again, this is Greg and I, and our how you can reach us on GitHub. So we'll talk a little bit just about GitHub, where we're going as a company, why our clients choose GitHub. I'm not going to talk much on that. We'll get into InnerSource 101, making it operational. And then after lunch, we're going to spend a little bit more time in a deeper dive just talking about DevOps. Some of this is slides, some of this will be demo for lack of a better word, and then hopefully a good bit of discussion. So again, raise your hands, throw stuff at me, make it interactive, whatever. So why is all this important? You guys have probably seen slides similar to this, or infographics similar to this, but that is pretty amazing that in the past 15 years, you look at top publicly traded companies by market capitalization. You see GE, you see Exxon, you see Citi, you see Walmart in 2001, and then just in 15 years, it's all tech. And that's not just tech companies, that is tech companies, but tech is in every single business, and it's becoming, for a long time, the differentiator. It's no longer the differentiator, it's the hygiene factor. If you don't have it, you're no longer competitive. And the differentiator is how fast you can be, and it's the acceleration of how you can come together, analyze a problem, react to that problem, and change your software to capitalize on an opportunity or to avoid a threat. You guys are in an industry that's got all sorts of change happening right now, right? I have to tell you all that. So how fast you react to those things is a determinant of success. That's all happening at the business level, but what's happening down at the kind of technology level? What are the trends that we see, I'm sure you guys see? Well, push to continuous delivery, the pace that's been set by Amazon and Netflix and Uber and these cloud native companies of continuously delivering software is pushing the curve for everybody. So no matter if you've got 40, 50, 60 years of legacy COBOL that you've got to worry about, you still have to operate in this same kind of pressures. And the good news about that is that it helps you reduce the risk of new software. If you can do that, deliver these incremental changes to production, that's much less risk than the old traditional way that we've been operating for years. Probably still in other parts of the company here that you're still operating in this big once a year kind of release. And if you miss that, huge impact. Breaking things up smaller and delivering them continuously. But the reason why this is even more important is these consumer expectations. We're not just driven by the the expectations for Humana or even for GitHub. We're driven by the expectations for anybody that's using some sort of application that interfaces with any consumer. Uber, when I'm waiting on something for FedEx or UPS, I want the same experience that I get from Uber. I want to know that the FedEx driver is 3 minutes away and I'm meeting with my new gizmo that I need. Right? That expectation is transferring across industries and across applications. So it's not enough to say we're doing better than our competitor. Containers and microservices, not a new idea. We've been chasing reusable architectures and componentization for years, but the idea of the user experience driven from mashups, all those things are not new. But microservices combined with containers. You guys doing any Docker stuff here? Everybody familiar with containers?
Yeah.
So, okay.
Mark, if you want to give a review of what the team is doing, if you guys are, it's totally fine.
Okay. So as far as Docker specifically, we're looking at it as an capability. It's not
Not very yet.
Yeah, it's not ready yet. We do have some containerization capabilities, which that currently probably one of the bigger utilizers of the component. And we're aggressively pursuing that as more of that as a capability. But at the moment, we're still very much in the IaaS world.
Yeah.
And so
It's cutting edge, but it's pushing us in the direction. So the software architecture can only be as nimble as the physical infrastructure that supports it to a degree. So as these things come together, it's opening up opportunities and creating new challenges. And then the third thing is open development. Well, this is what we'll talk a little bit more about in just a bit. So you see advertisements on almost every major station for GE, the Predix platform. You see those commercials when they're advertising for developers who are going to work for the old GE experience and the sledgehammer. Everybody is out developing and recruiting developers. GE, who's thought of as an industrial company, is now advertising themselves as a digital platform provider, not just a traditional industrial company. And they're opening up their development. They're putting more stuff out in the open and inviting collaboration. And then this idea that we'll talk about in detail, InnerSourcing, as more and more open source development occurs, people are seeing the benefits of how people who don't know each other, geographically spread across the world, can develop Linux, can develop new entirely new platforms, new libraries. How can we do that inside of our walls? And that is driving people to go work where they see that they're contributing not just to something cool at a company, but the company itself is contributing to something that's important to society, important to technology. And people want to work in organizations that provide that type of environment. So all of that is kind of giving rise to this idea of the rise of the developer. We still have project plans, we still have people that we have to coordinate with, but in these digital native platforms, the developer makes a lot more of the decisions than has been traditional in the past. You take just payments as an example. Business doesn't go make a decision which payment company they want to use. The developer says, you know what, Stripe has the best API for us to integrate with, that's what we're going to use. The developer is making more decisions. The infrastructure team still around, but with the containers in the future, you'll begin to see a lot less coordination is necessary. So what does that all mean? Well, this is kind of why GitHub doesn't consider ourselves really just a company that's delivering software tools. And we're not an application lifecycle management tool. I came from IBM Rational, where I spent 15 years, where our strategy was software development is a lifecycle, and you gotta have requirements product for the engineer, the requirements engineer to work on, design tools, everything, think about the whole supply chain. Well, with everything compressing, the developer is key. And so our focus is on making the developer more productive, and not just in their job, but in their career. And this video that we've launched at our universe kind of epitomizes what we think about strategy.
So the red doesn't go on the slide at all? I think we're next.
So not just about software, it's about the development life cycle of the developer. So when, by the way, I'm supposed to be at lunch and learn at Humana.
Hope you make it.
Thanks. So some of the reasons why clients choose GitHub. Having all of the code and plans and everything in a single place. Recruiting and retention. When I first joined GitHub a little less than a year ago, I talked to several executives who had switched, C-level executives, and decided to use GitHub because they felt like this was a recruiting and retention tool to make a statement that we're serious about software development. This, non-traditional tech company. Social coding, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a few minutes, but this idea of having news feed of everything related to development all in one place, sort of a Facebook or LinkedIn type of feed. And then building institutional knowledge around the code, not just in SharePoint or documents that nobody knows where they are, but having it right there next to the code. If this is your most strategic asset, it's kind of makes sense. Having a best of breed anchor that can help drive your continuous delivery, continuous integration strategy, a center point in which the best CI tools, the best testing tools integrate with you, and then having that large ecosystem of other development tools. Those are the reasons why people moving to GitHub, not just for open source, but for inside the enterprise. So we see a lot of recognizable names here. If you're not familiar with GitHub and some of the other projects that we work on, or that people use GitHub for. Open source projects, tech companies, and then, as I kind of hinted at earlier, these non-traditional forward-thinking enterprises. And it's this is a research from Google Trends. In case you haven't heard, subversion is dead. And I think this is wrong, actually. That's been on the slide, but we have over 15 million. I think it's 16 million users now, and we're top 50 most ranked or highly searched and visited websites, which is kind of impressive considering, you know, it's not a consumer site. And then here's, Greg's going to show a little bit more detail here, but just some of the integrations that are already in place, and those are growing rapidly. Now this, just going to touch on a couple ideas around InnerSource. The idea is not all that new, and the term goes back 20-something years from Tim O'Reilly, but this short little pamphlet is maybe a year old, something like that. Yeah, it's not, you can download it online, maybe 30, 40 pages, but it introduces the ideas of how do you change the culture, and what is it that you have to do to make your development much more like an open source project. Why the heck would you want to do it to begin with? So some of the biggest thing is that you think about the traditional project teams, and somebody allocates and says, you're going to work on this team, and here's the 20 people who are on that, and you have to be invited to look at the source code, participate on the change requests. Open source inverts that. Anybody can make a change. Anybody can look at the source code. Anybody can suggest changes. And when you're using a older technology, conversion, as an example, it makes it very difficult to implement that because nobody wants to merge in anybody's changes. So Git has really made this a practical reality, not just a theoretical one. It inverts that whole transparency. Then there's this idea of we have some stuff that's proprietary, and then we have some stuff that's that we're sharing throughout the whole organization. And there may be some legitimate code that only a subset of the company needs to see for security or regulatory reasons. And then there's a lot of other stuff that we just should open up to everybody. And then there should be some stuff that we open up to the entire world. And as we see in a couple of slides, the list of companies that are actively participating in open source is a little bit surprising. Here it is. In Walmart Labs is releasing DevOps tools that they're using and have built in-house out to the larger development community. And Walmart's not a software company, but they're out there taking their development effort and putting it out in open source. And then that is driving, people's consumption of open source is driving this need and desire to participate in a broader open source community. I found this stat to grab attention when I was at InnerSource working session a couple of weeks in Boston. Folks at PayPal are very active in leading this community, and stats they have are that developers that are actively participating in open source projects are demanding higher salaries because it demonstrates their ability to work in this transparent way. And it's good for the business because people that can operate this way can speed products to market. So if you look at just some of the basic tenets, ultimately InnerSource is about mentorship. You folks remember pair programming? How many folks actually participated in pair programming? A few. Was it successful?
Yeah,
Did you have pushback from management at the time? Or were you in an organization where everybody was bought into it? It was here?
For us here, we're calling it.
Okay. Anybody that participated in pair programming in another organization? Right here. Yeah. You know, the idea was that when sort of a piecemeal approach in a manufacturing mindset to development. If I've got 2 people working on something, that means we're half as productive. But when you take a knowledge and learning organization, shift your mindset to that type of approach, then you look at this is faster than you can come up and validate ideas. So ultimately, InnerSource is about creating a culture of mentorship throughout, from junior, senior, as well as peers, in reviewing code and development. So when we look at, again, the code and commentary are widely available. It's not something that, I'm just emailing back and forth. This is all saved out in the open for posterity, so everybody can go back and learn from it and understand why a decision was made. A lot of times, right now, you make a decision, it's a water cooler conversation. A year from now, nobody knows why somebody decided to go in a direction. Where you're doing everything in a transparent way, you can go back and follow the logic in the discussion and then ultimately in the code. And then one last slide, and then we'll get into some practical implementations of this. I always like to see sort of a comparison of how people are doing it now. I won't walk through all of these, but I can make these available. So, collaboration in a traditional sense, it's only in a single team. And with InnerSource, you've got multiple teams opening everything up, and if I've got cycles, I can go participate. Anything else strike you? And how does this relate to how you guys are functioning now? You're just not calling it this, but doing it that way?
I don't think there's a lot of cross-cutting concerns in people's minds. If everything is so business requirement, it's like, and the culture is really deliver. So there's a lot of like, this thing needs to do this and get given the service. Well, okay, fine, I'll do that. Here it is. And there's not a lot of thinking at maybe a more abstract or useful level that would drive things like this. It does not say that thinking doesn't exist in Congress, but the organization itself is not structured that way.
I think we see that a lot when it's the organizing concept is a project, not a product. So the job is get this project done, and not here's the products we're working on and how they support the business. Any other thoughts on looking at this? Food for thought. Well, we're going to get in and look at some of this, how we actually implement these things in code reviews and pull requests and other parts of the tooling. And so feel free to chime in as we go. Want to jump up here, Patrick?
I'm sorry, just learning.
Hey, King's the first mission. Yeah.
All right, what's up, y'all? Sorry. So Clay handed the mic off to me to talk about some more practical, applicable stuff to you, what's going on in your day-to-day. Unfortunately, I don't necessarily know what that means to y'all, like off the top of my head, because I haven't gotten a chance to really walk through it and ask what kind of challenges that you have and that sort of thing. And honestly, really right now, I'm just bitter that Clay didn't tell me definitely a departure from how source control is done in the past. So when I grew up working on software, I used to be a developer for like a hot minute and working on a lot of the DevOps-oriented practices that we all know and love today. And I worked exclusively on a subversion world, which Clay informed me earlier that it's subversion today, so I can't really go back to that. So this whole deal with Git, though, like the InnerSourcing that really the open source community that helped Git take off is all about how easy it is to operate on your own without a dependence to somebody running the servers. Right? So there is a canonical copy of some information that we all agreed to submit our changes to at the end of the day. But when it gets early going, so it's all done on a mailing list, and there wasn't really like a platform to get around that. So even if you want to contribute to Linux core like 10 years ago, that's still on a mailing list. Actually, I think it's still on a mailing list right now. There's 2 million years at this point, one of which is unknown. So GitHub was built in order to answer this platform and collaboration problem that email didn't solve because there was no face-to-face accountability. Even though you can still get like a nasty gram from historical back in the day. So we wanted to do something that was a bit more personable and also build in some additional understanding of what a typical workflow should look like. So I'm going to assume that most of the folks here are familiar with Git without having to do much of a show of hands. But who has heard of the concept of GitHub flow? All right, cool. You all can get out. No, stay. So what we're going to do is just kind of like go through this in a pretty like light level here of the concepts for those that aren't aware. And then I want to show you what this looks like in the wild with an open source project where the stakes are kind of the highest in terms of people being able to just like dope out something at any time, right? Like an open source pull request can just unceremoniously wither on the vine. It's always being painted you have work, right? When somebody's working within an enterprise, it's a little bit of a different story. So I don't want to focus on the enterprise play first. I want to go somewhere where the health of a project is what really brings people back. So GitHub Flow is really just a very microscopic change that has gone through all of the steps of maturity to get from what you think is a good idea to being created in your master code base. So you need to branch off of that master code base first and foremost to handle some specific topic that you want to handle, right? Like one tiny change, maybe one change that's going to sum up to a concert of changes for a larger release. However, that's going to look for you. You're going to do the work necessary to turn this into something, and then you're going to want to open a pull request, assuming we're talking about GitHub here. Within that pull request, we need to describe what it is we're trying to accomplish with this change or changes, and we need to do that in a way that we have engendered folks in our developer community or folks that are just interested in the results of this project to give some feedback to us. We have some additional tooling within pull requests and also in our greater integration market space that make pull requests like their own living thing. At the very smallest bit, this is a request to bring in my changes on their merits, review them, make sure that I am on the right track, and then ultimately make a decision around the testing of this change and the reviews that we receive, whether or not this is a good idea. Not every pull request is merged and deployed. Some of them are closed for very good reasons. Some of them are experiments that are meant to fail so that we learn something and we can experiment again. There's a lot of different outcomes for this, and not all of them are perfect. Not all of them are the change we wanted right off the bat. Some of them are things that we want to avoid at all costs, but they become cautionary tales for folks in the future that we can spend money on. So in this process, we want to do some discussion and review. We really want to deploy this somewhere and test it out. I'm not sure how y'all are doing testing today or how you're thinking about it. I'm sure you have a lot of different products that are individually applied to a different or get a different standard of make sure it goes through that process. But ultimately, most changes you would prefer to have some level of testing in a safe environment that we're really confident about the results there. And then we make the decision of whether we do this over and over again. We can do several pull requests for one release. We can do one pull request to just do one quick thing. It needs to be documentation, it needs to be code, it needs to be both at the same time. There's a lot of stuff going on, but ultimately, the pull request is a vehicle to showcase your work, ask for it to be completed, and then get your friends and experts in conversation at the right time to make sure that what you're doing is indeed what you're hoping to accomplish, and it doesn't have any external or extraneous ramifications to it. So I told you I was going to talk about Alright, cool. So I told you I was going to talk about an open source project or a company that does a lot of work with open source. There are many, but one group of folks that seems to be really committed to staying on top of the latest and greatest features is Mapbox. And Mapbox does, at a very high level, GeoJSON mapping of interesting data points, right? So if you were a company that had a bunch of brick and mortar locations, we're going to want the locations of those loaded up to maybe a mobile app or something like that. We want to display those because they're going to be relevant to users searching for the nearest CVS or something, right? So this is something that they do very well. We actually keep Mapbox Enterprise server inside of GitHub Enterprise, which we support GeoJSON rendering inside of GitHub. So in order for us to do that, we use some of their stuff. So why I'm highlighting them? They are an extremely healthy active community, and they maintain a lot of their libraries in open source. They've ported a lot of folks external to the company to come in there, but they also have a very healthy internal open source maintenance team. So like at GitHub, we have stuff like Atom or some of our external dependencies, and we have dedicated teams that maintain our open source community. Same thing here, right? So these are folks that Mapbox pays to be on staff and engage with their community of open source and make sure that the software that's being developed that Mapbox ultimately relies on is still at a high enough standard that they can provide the next release of it and compromise. So you can see a lot of pull requests here. I opened up a couple in advance to kind of show off some of what's new in this day and age. So as I mentioned before, they're kind of on top of it, right? What we've done with pull requests over time, like back in 2008, it was just, will you merge this change, please, right? And you either did or didn't. The product's come a long way since then. We've gotten to a point where we have well-recognized practices around what you have to do or what you should do in order to start up a good pull request. So one thing right off the bat is a nice handy cross-link to an issue. An issue describing a problem that you really want to solve, right? So a lot of interesting information can go in here. Product owners, product managers, QA folks, project managers, highly technical folks, not technical at all folks, can all bring some sort of perspective to any institutional problem. If it gets solved by software, we usually end up seeing this resolution play out in a pull request with the reference. So this person's trying to fix that specific issue, showing off a little bit of what they want to accomplish here. And as we go through this process, you're going to see a lot of traffic in terms of folks that are trying to help out with getting this thing merged, right? So through the pull request process, there's a sort of tacit agreement that we all want to see this thing succeed. We have ways to label this whole bit so we know that this is an iOS project. It's a new feature. We want to talk about it. Don't merge it yet because that's a really bad idea until we figure out if this thing's going to be solid or not. And we're targeting a specific milestone of this iOS release, their Mapbox native renderer. So let me pull it up. Yeah, that's right. All right. So what I find really awesome in the way that pull requests work now is how code reviews are more closely knitted into this sort of thing. You used to kind of have to elect to have your code reviews take place here. Now there's a very formal code review function. move on. I could jump in there and say something, but I don't think I'm having anything interesting to say, right? So, I don't know if you can tell, it's kind of like a red tinge before here. That's to talk about some code that they're deleting. Green background stuff is to talk about code that they're adding. And if we wanted to dig into what that diff looks like in its core view and see those line reviews in a more code-centric format, we can jump into the split diff here and see all this the way that it is, right? And we're going to see a lot of code change and a lot of spirited discussion through here that's trying to get this person to complete this whole change set. What really makes this powerful is the ability to continue to reference more and more areas of context that branch you out into other pieces of your dependency tree without having to work too hard to bring that into the conversation, right? So by dropping links to certain items, you allow folks to go out, get that context, come back, and have an even more informed discussion about what you're trying to accomplish. The nice thing about that is when folks do this sort of thing, we go back to the conversation theme, you're going to see references pop up to some of these other issues that are here. Let's see references to the tables added. Okay, so nobody directly mentioned what inside the format file. But we do have little notes of what's going on in terms of continuous updates and this sort of deal. So we're able to view changes at any point. We're able to pick up and put down code reviews if we need to. And what's even more important is that we can elect to set conditions around when this can get merged. So I'm just zooming on down to the end of the line when somebody wants to merge a request. What we're used to seeing is a big green merge button if we haven't done any of this work. But I want to highlight the idea of being able to set conditions around if you require code review to happen or not, which, I mean, do y'all do a lot of code review today? Yeah. Okay. How much of it is face-to-face or in a room or through like chat support? That just sort of the old like conference room tactic of like just getting folks to circle up and review. So why this is helpful is having a very specific criteria for what's being done around review ensures accountability, right? So there are probably times you walk into a code review and be like, yeah, we really need to do like these 3 things before this is suitable to move on. And in this case, you can ask for specific changes to be made. And so this individual has done a review, may request some specific changes to be done. And until those are satisfying, and that person has come back and cleared the way saying, yeah, this is a good deal now, thank you for addressing those, we're not going to be able to free up this merge button. Similarly, having additional integrations going through some checks here is another piece of this puzzle. So this is where your continuous integration systems come in. This is where your code quality systems come in. So if you're doing like code coverage for unit tests and you drop below a certain threshold, now we're going to deny this change until we've done some more unit test development here. And this is all like many sizes fit whomever, right? Each repository can have its own criteria for what all is important in terms of integrations and reviews. Each repository can have different individuals that are responsible for reviews. Each repository can have different individuals or teams who are responsible for merging at the end of the day, when other folks just have a level of access to propose changes but not merge them. So the granularity here is pretty extreme. What I do want to show another one of these just to say that this wasn't all staged. conversation looks when you brought it online versus and asynchronously versus making sure that we both have to be in the office today. We both have to be free at 10:30. And if we aren't free at 10:30, well, I don't get to keep working because I don't know if this is good enough yet. And I can take some guesses, but I may be further off the road until they have that code review meeting rather than just posting it up to GitHub and waiting for that person's next mail at the moment. So this is all about asynchronous work, right? We save all of the time possible by working asynchronously. We may lose time when we require that we meet face-to-face and talk to each other. Jumping down to this one, whole lots of commits later, we have somebody who saw all of these commits that addressed an earlier review. We've got a review approved from this individual, and we go on down to the end here where there's still one person who would like to have some changes done. We get to zoom through here and see all of our integrations are at least passing the time being. So you're just one requested review away from being able to merge this bit. But we're feeling really good about how vertical this is. If we jump into some GitHub work stuff, I can easily merge a bunch of those. These I can't. Okay, so that's a lot about the practicality of flow in the code review. Hopefully you kind of understand how this works, and it's kind of busy. We can break it down to something simpler too. So any questions at this point?
Yeah, so for InnerSource, I think this makes sense. If we transfer the model that our team here has, where we're all face to face all the time, and these things are like conversations happening instead of digital artifacts that we invest in. Do you think this has this much? I guess I'm kind of answering the question myself, but like, what's the official GitHub stance on that? Is there still value in y'all's minds in pull requests and stuff at that point? Because like, frankly, since we're married, we're reviewing all the time. So I'm kind of curious what your thoughts are.
Okay, so the question's about if we do have the opportunity to be face to face and kind of hang out with each other pretty regularly, what is the benefit to having a platform like this, right? More or less, I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, effectively, sure.
Okay, so, all right, so that's our question. There are a number of reasons why this is still relevant. One is how much can you remember, right? So you've had a number of these conversations, and you may have the opportunity to go and address these changes immediately. You may not. Your priority might change immediately. This record is eternal, right? So we don't truncate and delete or archive any of this information. This is historical record. It's completely searchable. Your decisions are recorded, right? So there is an ability at all times to go back in history and find out not only what changed, but why, right? What the reasoning was behind that. What's really fun is me going back 2 years ago to when I started GitHub and finding out all the, just really uninformed stuff as a much more junior member of the team. But on top of that, though, it's like this can be snatched and revisited, say a new project or a higher priority were to visit this office, and you folks are now all hands on something else. Peacetime will come again, and we need to pick these changes up. Where did we leave off? And the final bit is all about this piece right here, the integrations and where they land. So if you're going to visit another tool to get all the information that you need to support your code review, that's a little inefficient, or can be. We can plug in all of the heads-up information that we need into one view on one platform, then we've definitely limited context switching for one, which can be costly. And then we've also limited the need to just even visit and learn another tool when we can use a modern CI system that picks up the fact that new branches have been created. So none of that is going to be a part of your in-the-review unless everybody's cleaned up on the same systems. So those are a few reasons. History, searchability, ability to stash changes and pick them back up, limiting and context switching, and I'm sure there's probably a lot more that I'd be forgetting. But there's power and value here, even though you have the opportunity
in here to work with us face to face, or if there's just a dependency, an external dependency of a product that we're working on, then we don't interact so much. That way, it is more where this. Like, there have been plenty of times where I would love to open up a PR on this service that I'm calling because it's got this weird behavior.
Yeah.
Like that type of stuff. Like I love the idea and I see the value there. So yeah.
I think I was talking to Sarah before, and she mentioned some like what's great is when some folks come and work with y'all here, they go back to their individual pieces of the company and maybe bring some of like what they learned when they're here with them. This record can go with them too, right? Like look what we did with this, right? You can even come in and view like another software development organization inside Humana and come and see how some of this work was done, gain the context that they would need to be informed of what's going on, and maybe carry forward some of the same working philosophies that you all are sort of building, right? So there's extreme power in showing this off to other folks as well, even if they didn't build much of it, right? So there's more to it. What else you got?
Does GitHub have task orders? So if I make a push, because I've seen task orders that don't pass, are those external services? Or does GitHub have a built-in program?
What was the first part of the question?
Like task orders pretty much have kind of a sort of run tests on GitHub services or the external services.
So generally speaking, like some of the integrations and stuff that we're talking about here, like these will be external services, but they could be cloud services. It could be local enterprise services running on other systems. But there is such a thing as like being able to embed like YAML files and some other interesting like metadata type bits to run locally as well. We also have some stuff for your CPOs and like webhook fired actions that we just scripting them. So there's a lot of flexibility in terms of where some of this stuff is run. We don't run a CI server on GitHub Enterprise Compliance. We don't do that on GitHub.com either, for instance. But there is some flexibility in like where you go to visit and how your work is results. And that's all. A lot of that ends up being webhook API driven, which I didn't load anything up about the API, but that's another topic for another day if you want to talk about like some of the other integration powers and stuff. That's a lot to talk about. Does that help the question?
Yeah.
Okay. You have one right here.
I just want to know how can I use this in Humana? Can I use GitHub in Humana? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think I can answer the question for you specifically because I'm not really familiar with what team you're on, what you work on. But what I can tell you is that yes, there are teams in Humana, inclusive of this team, that are using on-prem GitHub for all of their source code repository, and it's also utilized in violations.
So how can I make my team start using it? You can do that, you know?
So,
Yeah, so I think that's a conversation we can have offline. If you're interested in that
Yes,
sincerely, then let's
I am.
let's have a different conversation without an audience and see if we can do it.
I think something too to consider is, are there things that your team is innovating that you can contribute to fully open source? And obviously work with your managers to verify the safety in that, but that can be something that we're exploring as well. And how can we contribute back to the development community as a whole?
yeah, we've been going down that road. Yeah, it's good for legal. And the current requirement that we've been given is that you can contribute to open source, but everything you contributed, it has to be copyrighted. So, makes it.
Oh yeah, how are you doing? 1 o'clock, just like that. So, but wait, there's more. So in a little bit, we're gonna do. Yeah, okay, we're gonna move to another room and talk about some more like DevOps oriented concepts and stuff.